It's 24 hours on. It's been spoken about ad infinitum, but these images are still equally graphic and, frankly, quite horrific. Disturbing, frightening, all of the above. As I said there, Paul, the man was jailed for 14 weeks. But do you believe that that is enough to deter this type of incident repeating itself? He was also banned from all football matches, and Birmingham City have said they will ban him for life.
I don't know. I really don't know, because it's the individual. I don't know if you put it up to 3 years, if you put it up to 4 years. I don't know. You know, if you rob a bank, I think you get 10 or 12 years. People still rob banks and they know they're going to get 10 or 12 years. When I'm watching that then, I've got an image in my head. He's only got to have a knife and sticks it in his neck. Mm-hmm. And if he's running on that pitch and he's got the audacity to run on the pitch, who's to say he hasn't got? You know, when you say deduct points or close the ground, you could end up having a supporter of another team going on the pitch making out that they support that team to get points deducted. It could get that mad.
Yeah, listen, it is not a straightforward issue, and I suspect, Dion, you don't feel there is a right or a wrong or yes or a no.
You're talking about Villa Blues here, and who am I to talk about Villa Blues games? I'm the one that, you know, messed up last time. So I know what can happen to players in regards mindset on the pitch, but a fan to actually beat the stewards and dodge his way onto the pitch, and he must have ran 20, 25 yards, 30 yards, to hold that anger in his head, to run, and then to try and punch an opposing player. I don't... Like Mercer's, the mindset's... I don't know what he's thinking, you know. Is he mentally ill? We don't know if he's mentally ill. But if he's mentally ill, he's got to get himself sorted out, because that is just...
I don't think he's well.
Listen, we don't know, but...
No, we don't.
Listen...
There's got to be... That's not right to run from wherever he's run from, and not at any time during that time for your brain not to say... This ain't right.
This ain't right.
Yeah. This ain't right.
Clearly,
and to go full pelt.
Clearly.
Full pelt. And he could hit him there, and if he hits him in the wrong place, he could get...
Absolutely.
There's enough people that have been killed through a punch.
OK, without knowing the individual's mental state, it would appear, though, he ran on, he did it, and then he's blowing kisses to his fellow supporters, and they're all applauding him. It's some sort of hero status.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I have. Not with everyone. That won't be with everybody. There'll be a lot out of the 27,000.
It's a minority.
But there's a minority, because it's the game.
Yeah.
I think when people settle down now and they're at home today and they realise, because they're into the game and, you know, and that spur, I think they would sit down and go, I can't believe that. Seriously, they must do. If they don't...
The thing is, though, in order to stop it 100%, Jeff, the only way to stop it 100% is to put fencing in. If you put fencing all the way around the pitch, it's not fair on the 99% of the fans that are bang on. So do you give bigger fines? What have they done? 10-year ban? Mm-hmm. Is that...
10-year ban from all football.
Yeah.
And Birmingham City said they will ban him for life.
For life. Why not ban him for life completely and give him a longer sentence? Why not ban him from all football venues worldwide? Why not ban him for life?
Well, first of all, the actual jail sentence is imposed by the magistrate, so that is the law of the land, and it has to be in line with a similar offence, regardless if it happens within a sporting arena. Although he invaded the pitch, which is a criminal offence, that's a minor offence by comparison. So to stop it from happening, should the clubs or the football authorities impose their own sanctions that would try and reduce... You can't, even if we accept, you can't stop this completely, ever.
You can't.
No, if an individual is determined to do it, but all of a sudden, you know, we had 3 incidents this weekend, 3 incidents. Why is it happening more? Why is it on the increase? And surely we should be proactive in trying to find measures to stop it.
So if you have an individual that wants to get on the pitch, let's say you can't stop them get on... An individual... Mm-hmm. 1 or 2 maybe. I'm not talking when you win a football match and I've been at Cambridge United and there's been 3,000 or 4,000 people on the pitch when you've just got promotion. You know, that's kind
different.
Of thing. That's different. Absolutely. That's all your own fans, you know, there's no aggression. That's a celebration.
Yep.
But if you've got individuals that go onto the pitch that want to do something wrong and dangerous, put them in prison. If you go over the white line, you go to prison.
For how long?
That's not me to judge. If you go over the white, if you go to a football match, you go to the football match, and you know if you leave your seat or where you're standing, you go on the pitch, you're going to go to prison.
Yeah, but
nobody's going to go. Nobody's going to do it.
They've done that though, 14 weeks, and if it's a first offence, he'll only serve 7. Is that enough of a deterrent in your mind?
Maybe not. Maybe not. We don't know what's going to happen now, Jeff. We don't know if people have seen this and gone, right, OK, forget that, I'm not doing that. If it doesn't happen again, then it was the right sentence. If it doesn't happen again, it was the right sentence.
Well, you say that. I had a little look back. Remember, Chris Kirkland was assaulted. Mm-hmm. His assailant, 6 weeks in jail. Enkelman's assailant, 4 months. They were the sentences handed out. So it would appear...
I can't believe that the Enkelman one got 4 months compared to that was 14 weeks. I mean, that is... That Enkelman's one's bad, but it's nowhere near. That's the worst I've seen on a football pitch, that is. I know we see abroad, you see, like, people come through kicking and the players and hitting the ref and all that. But in England, I haven't seen anybody do that before. I haven't seen that. People might... You know, it has to be bigger sentences, because some people will swallow that for status. For hero status, they will swallow 7 weeks in prison, really? 7 weeks to be, you know...
a hero within your fellow fans.
Yeah. But the problem there, though, if you're talking about longer sentences, that's down to the laws of the land, and football can't impose those. That would take a completely different change.
Well, to be fair, they've got to be changed anyway, because if that's the same as anybody walking down the road tomorrow and someone just comes up to them and smashes them and they're getting 14 weeks, that rule's got to change soon, because... If someone walks up to someone, they hit him on the street and they fall over and they could get killed, that's got to change.
What is the law, Merce? Do we know what the law is? If you get punched in the street and, you know...
It'd be the same.
It would be
the same.
It's exactly the same. The court will have to... completely take away that it's a football match and it's on a football pitch. It's the law that's on the street, really.
Yeah. So, if that's the sort of sentence that they are able to impose... do the footballing authorities need to do something to add further deterrent? First of all... You can't start closing stadiums and you can't start...
Why not? Oh, come on.
So why not?
So you can't... For 30,000 people in there, you... As a manager of a football team, you have 20 players and you can't look after 20 players. How are you going to look after 30,000 people? You can't be punished for someone's stupidity all the time. You can't do that. You know, but there's good people in them stadiums. I agree. And there's good people that own the clubs. They can't be punished for one silly person, yeah. One individual.
Yes, but those good people don't do this sort of thing. So you're not punishing them, and also these.
You're not punishing them. You're talking about people that go to every game, and some people have been to every game, home and away for a million years, and then they have to miss one game because someone runs.
But you're talking about people who are attacking opposing players. So if their deterrent is it will harm their own team, because this is tribal, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah, of course it is.
Right.
Of course it is.
So if it is a punishment against their own team, would that be a deterrent?
No, I don't think it would. I just think... I think it's the wrong kind of punishment in regards closing the stadiums and not letting the fans in. I think it's the wrong punishment because, like Merce said, you've got season ticket holders who've been there for 30 years and they always go, never cause any trouble, then they can't go because of one individual.
Yes, but if the individual thinks, you know, he's the big I am and he's be clever in front of his mates, if actually his mates turn around and say, hang on, we're banned from the next 3 games...
What's that going to do?
Deducted points. Would that then lessen that so-called status?
It wouldn't,
that he
because the individuals that you're trying to rehab are going to do it anyway.
And you've got to remember, certain fans turn up at certain big games. I don't know this, but I don't know if he's a season to go. But I've played in enough football matches where you get a big game and you see people turn up and they weren't here, they've never been here before, or they don't usually come. This is a big game.
OK.
And that's a fair point. So you could have 20 mates who don't usually go, but they're coming because it's a Villa game, or, you know, there's another big rivalry game.
OK, how much would you focus on individuals not getting on the pitch in the first place? I mean, the physicality, a lot of stewards has been called into question.
I don't think... I mean, like I said, Jeff, in order to stop it, you'd have to fence it. We don't want to do that because we've got to a good place in our game where, you know, fans are close and they can hear us, you know, making tackles and talking, and they're part of it. And we don't want to stop that because, like we said before, 99% of the fans are brilliant. Brilliant. So why not say, if you go over the white line, you are... What did I say?
What did I
say when you go over the white line? You go to prison. That's what I said. That's what I said earlier.
But you can't... Football can't have their own law. They can't have their own... Football can't have their own law in court.
But no, we're trying to say, how do you stop it? Now, if you enforce the law like that, people aren't going to take that risk, are they?
Yeah, but you can't
change the law.
You can't change... You can change laws, but you can't add a law and say, oh... Right, there's a new law. So if you run on a football pitch...
So you can't stop it there. So if you can't, you're not going to change things, how can you stop it?
So for a start, the stewarding, you dismissed that fairly quickly.
No, I did dismiss it because how many stewards do you need? There's 30,000 people in the stadium at Saints at St Andrews. How many stewards does it take to not have a gap all the way around the stadium?
Because you know, remember some of these stewards are, you know, are middle-aged...
University students.
University students... There's not 5,000 bouncers around the pitch that you run to and you think, bit big.
Yeah,
they're going to pick out the one and go and steam it.
Do you need to beef up the security? Do you need to have better, more professional security than?
I definitely, I think so. You know, you've got to remember a lot of these stewards are probably doing it for the love of the club.
Well, for nothing.
Yeah, for the love of the club.
It's very low money as well.
Yeah.
If you see a determined, potentially violent individual...
Who might be a big old unit as well.
You might be thinking...
Yeah, I'm not getting paid enough to stand in this guy's way.
No, and also, I'm sure there's plenty of stewards who wouldn't think that for a second. They think, hey, you're not doing that at my club as well, such is the nature of a lot of the stewards. But should they be more agile, some of them, certainly more physically capable?
If that happens, and if they know or they think, right, I'm going to take this job on for my club, which I love, and I'm going to protect the players, which I love as well, but there's a potential that I might get beat up today. Somebody might chin me to get on the pitch. I'll leave it. I'm not going to bother. That's what you'll get.
You could go the other way with the West Ham scenario. When they first moved into the stadium, it was... The talk was, when you were reading it in the paper, that they weren't sort of proper stewards. They were like...
Security.
Yeah.
So they weren't...
It made it an intimidating atmosphere.
Yeah, so if the fans turned around and went... Sometimes a fan, when they're involved in a game, could say... To a steward, and the steward would go, oh, OK, well, just calm down. But that security would go the other way and go, don't talk to me like that. And then someone else go there, and then it gets like... It's...
What about from a player's point of view, Paul?
Did
either of you ever fear? Did you ever...
No. No, you play games, but you'd never fear that someone's going to run on a pitch and hit you. Never.
No. First of all...
Birmingham against Villa is... I played in Arsenal, Tottenham. I never played in Birmingham Villa, but I lived there and I know what it's like. I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't, seriously. I played Arsenal, Tottenham, which is a big derby. But fans-wise, with these two, I've been in bars, and someone will come over and say, the firm of the Zulus are in, you've got 10 minutes, drink up, and you're out. And you go.
I was with him. I left at the same time.
And you go. I've drunk in London. I've seen Tottenham fans in London. They wouldn't do that. Oh, well, I've never had them do that. I've never seen anything
toxic.
Yeah, it is. I've been part of it. You know, I've been part of it on the pitch as well. As a player, I've been drawn into the atmosphere and lost my temper and got sent off as well in that game. And I know there was a lot of violence after that. So it can find its way onto the pitch as well. You know, the atmosphere of the stands, there's a proper hatred, Jeff, within Blues and Villa on the day of a game. A proper hatred. And the lead up to it as well.
This lad's life is near on finished, in a way, which we don't know what this lad's like. He could have an unbelievable job, or he's with 15 of his mates who have absolutely wound him up. They've gone drinking at 8 o'clock on an empty head, and they've got to the ground... And all of a sudden, he's drunk, they've wound him up, he's run on the pitch, smashed him. His career's finished. He's lost his job. He's lost everything, absolutely everything, for 2 minutes. And we all do this, but sometimes you have to look at the individual as well and go, what's wrong with him?
But
what's wrong with him? It's all right just going, oh, you're in prison for 14 weeks. You just don't, I just don't, you know... Sometimes you need to look a bit further than just, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. You know, you've got to look further than that sometimes.
But, Paul, is not the most worrying, potentially the most worrying aspect was clearly that was the most disturbing of the three, but 3 incidents in one weekend. Thankfully, these are relatively rare, but 3 incidents in one weekend suggests a trend.
And all the players got away unscathed, which is kind of scary because three punters, fans, got involved in physical contact with players on the pitch. You know, one at the side of the pitch, obviously, it was a Chris Smalling one.
I would like them 3 people, if you'd done a drugs test or a drinks test on them, how many of them were under the influence of drugs or drink out of them 3?
Yes, but the argument against that is you could do the same test and people behave themselves perfectly normally. So I don't think that's necessarily... but what I'd like to know as well, from a player's point of view, what protection have the players got? It's like if somebody's come running towards you, you can see they're about to strike you. What happens next? Player protect himself?
Would he have hit him if he was face on?
Yeah, I think he would. I think that particular player, I think he would have done.
Yeah.
Or he would have attempted to. But judging by his actions and the aggressive nature of the arm, which went all the way back, and it really, you know, he proper tried to knock
Would he have done
Jack
it to
Grealish
Tyrone
out.
Mings?
That's the thing. Jeff, what happens as a player, and I'll tell you what it's like on the pitch. As a player, if you see someone running towards you, you forget being a player, you become a human being. This is me, I'm telling you now. If somebody comes running towards me on the pitch and I can tell by his aggressive nature...
He's after you.
He's after me. Either I run away, get away from it, or you have to protect yourself. And if it's a point where you've got to protect yourself, you've got to do it. What do? Just take it on the chin and say, oh, you can get banned for that. You've got to protect yourself. It's dangerous.
Like I said, the 3 events happening one weekend is worrying. So the guy's been jailed, the other 2 are subject to prosecutions. But if nothing overly changed, and the next time it happens, somebody does have a knife or something...
Whose fault is that, though? Whose fault would that be if that happens and, God forbid, a player gets hurt seriously? Let's say it is a knife crime this time, and somebody does get stabbed on a pitch. Is it the footballing community, the hierarchy of football that haven't done enough or more to make that sentence harsher, or is it down to our laws of prison?
Oh, but you can blame anybody, and then you go, well, why didn't the steward stop them running on? And you know, it'd be endless. You just...
I'm not sure, Merce. I'm not sure if it's... Merce, I'm not sure if it's a steward's job.
No.
To get in the way of somebody that's aggressive, going on to a pit. I'm not sure if it's a steward's job to say, right, you stop there, mate. I'm not sure.
Well, there's actually... I can answer that, because there's a lot of the grounds, there's 2 types of stewards that have... they call them the runners. They wear football boots, they go on, it's their job specifically to bring people down. Other stewards are told not to go after them.
Okay.
So there is... And the other thing as well, you have to point out, since the changes as well, the police presence in grounds is completely different.
So, Jeff, in from what you've said there, if the stewards that don't have the football boots on, let's say, are not going to let him go, is the damage not going to be done?
I think it's once him or she
past the steward.
Yeah, once they're on, they have the runners at strategic points who have boots on.
Okay, to get that idiot off the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're likely to be the more agile and the more robust.
It's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one.
Can I just ask you both as well about perspective in terms of how often this happens, and is this a bigger problem that we are talking about now?
Only time will tell, because that Jack Grealish one's the worst I've seen. So it wasn't that bad a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Now that's happened, so who's to say we're not sitting here in 3 and 4 years' time and someone had a knife? We will not know, but that has got worse. In my opinion, that's as bad as it. The next bad thing is a knife, because it won't get any worse than what he done, because that's He's not. Well, he could have done any damage. Any damage.
So he's
very
a coward.
fortunate.
Absolute coward. And I think Merce mentioned it as well. What's he going to do? Walk up to Jack Grealish in the street in Birmingham Town Centre and punch him? He wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't just walk up to Jack and punch him in the face.
It's not the biggest. It's not. It's the second biggest.
Absolute
It's the second
coward. The man's a coward.
But the problem is, you say it's until, you know, it's time will tell. We'll know.
Yeah, and we don't know if his actions are going to be enough to stop people coming on. We don't know yet. Because if it does work and nobody does it again,
so
great.
therefore, surely we should exhaust every possibility, whether it's ground closures, points, you name it, to prevent it from happening. But
you can't. If you there's an all-round picture. I keep on hearing this points. You know, it's not just, you know, when you take points off someone and you go, I'll take 2 points off them. It's more than 2 points. If that team get relegated for 2 points, a lot of people lose their jobs. A lot of people. So don't. One person can't be in charge of getting everybody else. You know, people just. It's like when the team get relegated, they go, "Oh, don't worry, they'll be back next year." They might be back, but the people working behind the scenes are not back. They're losing their jobs.
But don't forget, it's a punishment.
It's a punishment. Don't punish working-class people who've got jobs through someone who's making an unbelievable mistake. We can't... Otherwise, we might as well all play behind closed doors and say, you know what, just watch it on the telly, because I can't afford to have anybody in my ground. I can't afford this. You know, sooner or later... I tell you what, you can go even further here. Jack Grealish's lawyer could ring up Birmingham tomorrow and go, you know what, I'm going to sue you. I'm suing you tomorrow. I can't have this. I'm on a football pitch. I should be safe here. I'm suing you. He could do. I'm
not sure about that legally, but I understand
what's the case against me? My life was in danger. My life shouldn't be in danger. I'm playing football. Your job is to protect us while we're playing football. That's surely.
Yeah, but he could be attacked.
It's not the gladiator. It's not a gladiator fit. You know what I mean?
But he could be attacked walking down the street, and you can't sue the local council.
But that's not Birmingham, though, is it?
Not on the pitch. That's what Mercer's saying.
I'm just saying that, you know, this could end up getting it could go on forever. But just remember, these clubs. You know, a lot of people work behind the scenes. Don't just say, 2 points here and 5 points there and 10 points.
Behind closed doors.
And a lot of these people work behind the scenes. They get paid when they work.
I understand.
If they get locked out the ground for that game, that's their wages gone.
Merce, I understand completely what you're saying, and you quite rightly argue passionately for the much wider picture. But what if we were looking at those pictures? Would you be of the same opinion, would be so strong? Say he'd really caught Jack Grealish. Say Jack Grealish, God forbid, was lying in a hospital somewhere now. Would you still be saying you shouldn't do it?
He'd be doing a lot more time.
No, but do you still think that you shouldn't?
Well, if that's the case, then you've got to do it. Then, if you're always going to go, well, if that happened, you might as well do it now and just say, right, you got 50 games, you're banned, you're thrown out the league, because. You can't.
It's really difficult because if Birmingham...
It's a massive word, you know. If it didn't, thank God, it didn't happen. But I just, for one bloke, and I'd like someone to have to go into prison and talk to him and say, you know what, how many games you been to this season? Honestly, how many games you been to? And I ain't sure he'd have been to a lot of games.
As I understand, season ticket holder, regular. As I understand.
That makes it even worse.
It makes it worse. It does make it worse.
That's worrying, then. That is worrying. You know, I'm trying to make a bit of a thing here, you know, saying...
Give the guy a chance.
It just comes out on the big occasion and gives you stats.
You know,
if you play behind closed doors...
That's worrying. That's worrying.
If you do play behind closed doors and you come to the scenario which Mercer said, and somebody goes down 2 points, you get deducted 2 points and they go down with 2 points, all the people lose their jobs, then is it down to the let's say Birmingham, for instance, they have to put in new rules. That's what they have to do, won't they? They'll have to make new rules for supporters that come through the turnstile saying, listen, if this happens, then you go to prison for this long. That's the only way it'll work, if you change the rules of your stadium. Can they do that? Are they allowed to do that? That's the thing. Because if they get deducted points and they have to play behind closed doors, they're going to have to change their rules, but are they allowed to?
Martin Samuel this morning, he said, why not, as soon as that incident's happened, stop the game then 3 points to the
to Villa.
Yeah, there and then.
What about the people that have travelled from miles and miles and miles with their 2 children, and they've spent a fortune to get there, and what happens then? That's not fair, is it? So what Merson and I have said is, 99% of the fans there are getting punished for this idiot for spoiling for everybody else. It's like you could spend, if you're going to go to a football match with your family and you spend £600-700 in your hotels, and you could be into the thousands, and then it gets called off after 15 minutes or whatever it is. It's like, it's not fair. It's not fair.
But would it be enough of a deterrent? That's the question. It isn't fair, but would it be enough of a deterrent?
We don't know what's enough and what's not enough until it happens.